G'day cobbers, welcome back to Mythbusters. And today do we have a special one for you. It's been swirling around the internet for the last couple of months and even dates back to August 2018. Supposedly, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison potentially poopty in his pants at Engadine McDonald's restaurant. Did Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison shit his pants? Let's have a look. First of all, if you look this up on the internet, you will get a pedestrian article. All pedestrian articles, as we know, brilliant journalism and always correct. And they pretty much just give a bit of the timeline of the event. So basically there was this rapper from Sydney, Joyride, who first revealed it on social media around August 2018, claiming that a friend was working there at the time. That's definitely a good start to the rumour, and it basically has just catapulted since then. Everyone has been talking about it, especially earlier this year, people were talking about it a lot. Look, so far, we have had no response really from Scott Morrison at all. I don't believe anyone has asked him directly, or if he has, he's just brushed off the question. So on KISS 101.1, Scott Morrison was asked about whether he uses McDonald's bathrooms, and we got a confirmation that he does, and that the security doesn't check it or anything before he goes in. He uses McDonald's restaurant bathrooms. Hey, we all do, but even the Prime Minister does. The Liberal Treasurer Josh Frydenberg was also asked about it, and he was unable to confirm. He just gave a bit of a brush-off answer. He just said, "Oh no, he's a clean person."
There has been a rumour swirling around your government recently about the Prime Minister Scott Morrison pooping his dacks in the Engadine McDonald's in 1997. Have you heard about this, and can you confirm or deny the rumour?
I've neither seen it reported or heard about it, and I'm sure he's cleaner in more ways than one.
Josh Frydenberg then said that on a government letterhead, they would confirm that didn't happen.
So we have a timer here. It's now 2 days and 35 minutes where Scomo can deny or own up to the guilt of filling his trousers at the Engadine McDonald's in 97.
Will you take a statutory declaration, or does it need to be in person?
Oh, no, we'll take a stat deck.
Yeah, anything on government letterhead. Actually mentioning that incident would be fantastic.
Just so long as it's not out of Fraser Anning's office.
Well, we'll try to get the coat of arms on a press release in relation to that McDonald's incident that didn't occur.
Now, I don't know about you, but I have not seen this letterhead. So I'm just thinking this is just going to be, swept under the rug, like a lot of things to do with the government. They don't want to come out and admit that this happened, which I'm not sure why. I would have thought that you would just come out and embrace it. You'd actually probably earn a lot of points with young people if you just come out and embrace the meme. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying it could have been beneficial for them, not giving any political opinion. Now, as with all rumours, if there's a Reddit thread about it, then it increases the chances it is true, just like the Boogie 2988 is a really shit person. Reddit thread. But yeah, there's a Reddit thread about Scott Morrison shitting himself eating in Maccas. Some people denying it, some people accepting it. But all I'm saying is, it is extremely possible that this happened. Cronulla lost the Super League Grand Final. This is not actually the NRL Grand Final, I believe. It was the Super League Grand Final. Engadine, not a far away suburb from Cronulla. He could have been driving past there. I believe he was the tourism, something to do with Tourism Australia at the time. It's entirely possible he would have been driving back to Canberra and been like, shit, I use McDonald's restaurants. I need to get into one right now and empty my rectum of these contents. And he might not have made it. He was already had the nerves from the Super League Grand Final. And all those nerves just built up on the way to the McDonald's. He was probably crying because Cronulla lost. And then he just shat himself all over the floor, and some poor employee had to clean it up. Joyride's mate. My team lost the grand final. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, we need to just get to Maccas. Now, so it's important to note that the grand final was actually played at ANZ Stadium in Brisbane. So we're thinking, okay, Scott Morrison was probably watching it at a pub in Cronulla or something, or watching it maybe at the club rooms or something like that. And then he's just gone on the way home, and he's passed Engadine Maccas. As you can see on the map, Cronulla is just to the east here, and then McDonald's Engadine would just be just across. So if you were like driving back to Canberra, potentially he could have passed McDonald's Engadine, or maybe he just knows that that's his like number one shitting spot. And he was just like, all right, I've gone to Engadine. Maybe he thought there wouldn't be many people there or something like that, so that's why he's gone there. Entirely possible.
It's entirely possible.
Let's have a look at the Google reviews for McDonald's in Engadine. Lovely place, truly. They've really done a lot with it since the incident 22 years ago. You know, the one where Scomo sloshed his pants full of brown thunder. And it blasted everywhere. All different consistencies. I went here for my 9th birthday back in 1997. Was hoping to see Ronald, but instead saw a young Scott Morrison drop a massive mud monkey on the floor. If you go into the toilets, look in the mirror and say, Labour, Labour, Labour's fault, the room fills with stink of fecal matter, and you can see a young politician run past into the stall. It's freaky. Also, the frappes are amazing. Yeah, look, it's not a bad joint, but I have a recurring nightmare about something that took place 22 years ago. This bloke was blasted after a day on the piss, and he crashed. He crashed through the front doors and bolted to the loo. He didn't quite make it. Hadn't been there since 97. Just can't bring myself to go back after that appalling episode involving the prominent Shark supporter. Disgraceful. Went in there in 97 and had a hot fudge sundae, bit rich for my liking, but okay. I also had a hot chocolate that was way too lumpy. Pretty cool to see the treasurer there though. Pretty good food and all, but the toilet had a stench to it. Some bloke rambling about the Sharkies absolutely destroyed the bathroom in 97. It hasn't been the same since. I remember when I was a lot younger, my parents took me here in 1997 for the Hercules movie Happy Meal so I could get that toy. I was so excited while we were standing at the counter. This large older man that looked something like Ted Mosby mixed with George Costanza came flying through the door and absolutely unloaded his pants right at the counter, much to the horror and disgust of the other patrons. It was so forceful you could have heard it from outside. I imagine he would have made it to the toilets, but the queue was so big since this was quite the right after time of the Cronulla Sharks lost to the Brisbane Broncos. And to wrap this all up, there has been a plaque installed at the Maccas that recognises this incident. The government hasn't mentioned this at all. This has been a hot topic on the internet since about January, February. Pretty sure people have asked Scott before, people have asked Josh Frydenberg. They just seem to sweep it under the rug. They said they were going to put it on a government letterhead to confirm it didn't happen, but we haven't got that. So I'm saying this is true. And okay, am I a few months late on this video? Yeah, but I think in hindsight we can now confirm it because nothing has been done to quell the rumour. It's still up and about. So thanks for watching. Mythbusters. Myth not busted. Plausible. Catch ya.